Hey guys, this is Blake with the Three Hand Hunter channel, and you know, it's not every day you're gonna see one of these on a YouTube video and a review of the Seiko SNM033 Samurai. This is a really cool watch, and it's very special and to me, and I'm gonna tell you why it's so special to me is because I've had it for a long time. I looked and I hunted for this particular watch for a long time, and now I'm gonna pass it along to my good friend Bob, who's a fellow watch enthusiast here in my local area, so I can actually get and fund another watch that I've been hunting for, which will be a rebuy, which I'm not gonna tell you what it is because I'm gonna surprise you with it. But I wanted to show you this amazing Seiko Samurai timepiece. This is a really cool watch, and it took me a long time I hunted around for this watch for a long time, and I wanted to show you this because it is so different from the current generation of the Seiko Samurais. I want to show you the differences. I want to talk about the watch itself, and then I'm going to match it up against you know, my turtle that I have on my wrist, because I think that's a pretty fair matchup based on what we have. And I have to say, I don't know why Seiko went with the current version that they have of the Samurai. This one, in my opinion, is such a superior design. And you might look at it and say, well, it's pretty much the same. It is the same, but it's different. It's different because the dimensions are smaller, and the edges and the beveling are so much crisper and more pronounced on this Samurai than they are of the old ones. I have had the current generation. I had a black one. I'll show you the ion plated one that I had in the past. And when I went looking for this first generation, you know, I said, okay, I want to get the first generation of the Samurais. They have a titanium version. They have the stainless steel, and I wanted the stainless steel because the titanium versions are just so beat up. There's some of them that, you know, you can find a pristine one, but they are going to cost you a pretty penny. You're talking probably north of $1,500 US at this time to find a really nice titanium one. And to get these, it's hard finding one that's in a decent shape, more for the bezel and the bezel inserts and the crystal. But what you'll notice is mine has an upgraded sapphire crystal, and I had that put on from I got that from specifically Loom ceramic bezel in LCB. No. Shoot, I have to remember which I got this from which manufacturer I got this from. But it was the best upgrade I could have done for this particular watch. But let's talk a little bit about the dimensions and what we're looking at here. So first of all, we have a 42 millimeter case diameter. It's the normal older classic Seiko 22 millimeter lug to lug. Also, now let me show you the lug distance. This is 47.4. Okay, that's what makes it like a turtle. It's going to wear, even though it's a 42 millimeter, it wears really well because of the lug to lug. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you is the thickness. Now, I have mine at 15.5. If you get rid of the crystal, it's more like 14. And that's because I put a domed sapphire crystal on there. You can see how it protrudes out from the bezel insert. Now, what's really interesting about this watch is when it had the flat hardlux crystal that originally comes on the watch, it sits really far, and you can see the gap. It sat really far beneath the bezel and the bezel insert. But you can see how with the domed sapphire crystal, it protrudes out now. I think the reason why they did that is to protect the hardlux crystal. But what happened with most of these older models is you're going to see the bezels are beat up like crazy. You're going to most examples that you find of these really are. And what you're also going to notice is the ion plating around the bezel itself. ion plating with the crown, and also these little, they're not screws, but they're little accents, which makes it so cool, right? And so you'll know it's a first generation when you see those accents are different. And you know, with the new version, I think, if I'm not mistaken, those aren't even there. And if they are, you can tell that they're just not part of the case, or they're built into the case. These, you can tell they're not built into the case. They're actually separate. Those are the little details that you miss with this old version of the first generation of the Samurai. Notice there's no crown guards either, which is a really unique, like, skin diver type of look. So what a cool looking watch. And what you're also going to notice, and I've been hesitant to actually show you this watch because I was thinking, well, I'll just go get another third gen or current generation Samurai, and this way I can compare the two. But I just never had the heart in it to just go out and just buy some random Samurai, because this one is so far superior as far as the case design. Now, notice the very hard beveling in the edges, and notice how it's polished and then brushed. And I'm sorry, by the way, I'm sorry about my lens. My general lens that I use for these videos, it actually fell and broke, so I have to go get another one. I'm not a professional photographer. Actually, this is my first nice camera that I've ever owned. So you guys have to excuse me for the any type of camera. I'm not a professional photographer by any stretch of the means. Okay, going back to the watch. Notice the really sharp edges. And with the new version, with the current version, it's not pronounced. It's like just kind of blends in a little bit. You still see the sharp edges, but these are like, I don't want to say razor sharp, they're not, but you can see they're very distinct. And notice how the brushing is just, I mean, it's beautiful, right? It's so Samurai. That's all I have to say. And I was very disappointed with the current generation of Samurais. Plus, the current generation is bigger. This case is a 42, well, it says 42 millimeter, but it's actually 42. The bezel itself protrudes out from the case. So the case itself is probably 42 millimeter, 42 and a half with the bezel. And that's the difference, because you see the new ones, they are 44 millimeter, and they wear big. They feel big. They feel bigger than the Turtle. The Turtle is actually feels comfortable, and I think the new generation of the Samurai is great, but they're not like the old generation. And plus look at the dial work. And I'm going to show you some outside shots of the dial to give you, and some macro shots, but you have that beautiful waffle pattern on the dial, the red accent on the second hand, and look at the indices, the chrome or stainless steel indices, and the reflections you get from the indices. And by the way, the lume on this watch still rock and rolls. And this watch, I'm not sure exactly what the age is. If you look at the case back will say 6, so I believe it's 2006. But let's take a look at the case back so you can have a good look at it. It's your normal, Casio with the wave on, or Casio. Did I just say Casio? I meant Seiko. With the wave on it. It's really, nice, and the difference between the brushing and the polishing. It's pretty, right? It's your normal I almost said Casio again. It's your normal Seiko affair. Listen to the bezel action. It's that buttery smooth Seiko, beautiful Seiko action. I love these. They just don't make Seiko like they used to, in my opinion. But the bezel action is just awesome. And this particular example everything lines up perfectly. Now, it is, I made the case in one of my previous videos about the legacy Seiko divers, that I believe that the quality is so much better for some of those older ones. Now, the movement in this watch is the 7S35, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. But it does have a 43-hour power reserve. It's like this SKX. So obviously their movements in the current versions are so much more superior, but I believe that the casework and the details that you see in the dials are far superior in these legacy Seiko divers. I wanted to also show you the bracelet. This is the original bracelet that came on this watch. I do not have the original box, but it was missing the links. And I went out and I actually found a seller that was selling 3 links, and which is cool because I actually only needed 1, and now I have it's a full set, but it's going to go to my friend Bob, which, by the way, he has the exact same wrist size that I do, which is awesome. So he won't have to make any adjustments here. So this, I'm going to show you how. Oh, actually, before I put it on my wrist, we do have the diver's extension, the old Seiko diver's extension. So if you've never seen it, it's just that the little one there. Press clasp, you know, it's the very disappointing normal Seiko, you know, clasps. Whoops, let me see if I can get that on there. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So it's the normal Seiko press clasps, as you can see. It does have polished center links. I'm not a huge fan of the polished center links. I actually want to show you how I wear this watch. Typically, I have it on a bracelet right now because I wanted to show you with the bracelet and what it looks like. But typically what I wear it on is the turtle has a strap code. Now, I've had this strap for, I want to say probably 7 years or so. It's I believe they still sell these, but you can see the weave is the same that you would see in the dial here. It's that waffle pattern, which is really cool. And there's the turtle. So you can see them next to each other. You can see the case shape of the first gen Samurai is obviously smaller, but it wears very similar. This just wears a little wider because the wider cushion case, but it's super comfortable, as you guys know. But so is the Samurai. The Samurai is super comfortable, even for as big of a watch as it is. Now, with the bracelet, for me, it's a little too bulky, right? It feels a little too bulky, and that's why I tend to wear it on the waffle pattern strap. But I put it on the bracelet because I wanted to show you guys what it looks like with the bracelet and how beautiful of a watch it is. And it's so unique. I know a lot of you guys have or own the original Samurai, or I say the original, the current generation of Samurais. But I want to give you a suggestion. If you can take some time and find and hunt and search for one of these first generation Samurais, I highly recommend it. It is a really unique watch, and like I said, finding one in a decent example of the first generation Samurais are difficult to locate. But if you can find one, it's an awesome, very cool watch. And if you're a fan of this case design, you will not be disappointed at all. Maybe by the movement. Maybe this one runs 30 seconds fast and there's no hacking or hand winding. But if you own legacy Seikos, then you're very well aware of that. If you had a Samurai, these are going to be definitely for the enthusiasts, the Seiko fans. That's this watch, in my opinion. So I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. And if you made it even this far, let me introduce myself. My name is Blake. I'm a bit of a watchaholic. And if you made it this far, you probably are one too. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you guys in the next video.